I was like, this is it. This is my chance to be in my favorite franchise. It's going to happen. And so the manifestation was off the charts for this one.
I always say this when people are like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, "No, thank you." Like, these games get to be made because the fans want them.
Stay close. They're coming.
Resident Evil is an institution. Spanning 3 decades, the first game came out all the way back in 1996, with some dodgy graphics and even dodgier voice acting.
What is this?
Wow, what a mansion!
Nowadays, it's a much smoother operation. I spoke to the voice behind Jill Valentine in the remakes, as well as Leon S. Kennedy, aka the main character in Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown. Doctor.
So first of all, I just have to say, happy Requiem week.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very excited, of course, for everyone to experience this, but also for me to experience this because first and foremost, I'm a fan before anything else, and I get to go home in just a few days to go to Boston to play with my little brother. I've been a fan since 1998, so going on almost 3 decades, and it's been my favorite IP ever since then. So I've been a diehard, and then it wasn't until 18 years after my own fandom began that I got to audition for this stuff.
How do you get through an audition like that when it's all on the line and it's something you love so much? Like, how do you get in the zone?
It's funny, after acting for about 15 years, I still get butterflies in random auditions for projects I don't really even know what it is. I still get that little nervousness, but for this one, of course, there was a little bit of that, but I think what superseded that was my excitement and my ambition and the knowledge I had in my head that I could book, like I had to book this. I was like, this is it. This is my chance to be in my favorite franchise. It's going to happen. And so the manifestation was off the charts for this one. And I think I let that take control and not the fear.
Yeah, so like Henry Cavill in The Witcher.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He's a great example. Yes. And I'm happy a guy like that is always like chasing his favorite roles, and he's landing a lot of his own fandoms. Yeah, this is kind of a similar story.
well, something else that I learned about you is that 10 years ago, you were in a Killswitch Engage video.
A group of buddies of mine, they used to direct their music videos. They did maybe 3 to 4 of them, and they were looking for and you know the song. It's an incredibly emotional song called Always, and I listened to the song. I listened to the lyrics. Beautiful song, powerful ballad, and right at that time, I had just lost my cousin to cancer, and it was so fresh in my head, just that feeling of loss and grief and moving on and taking the best parts with you and everything. And I told my friend, I said, if you need someone for this video, I'm your freaking guy. And we did it, and we shot that kind of guerrilla style around Santa Cruz and San Francisco, and that to this day, the comments on those videos are so heartfelt, and that's one of my favorite projects I've ever been a part of, is that simple music video.
Is it true that 2 years ago, you actually teased the fact that you were going to be Leon with a picture of you with a hatchet?
Saw that go viral about a week ago, and I started to sweat. It wasn't an intentional tease. I do post pictures of me doing motion capture stuff once in a while on different sets, and people, every time I post one, no matter what I'm working on, they always say it's the next Resident Evil game, no matter what. So I felt like it wasn't that big of a deal, and people were gonna speculate anyways. Right before Leon was revealed with the hatchet at the Game Awards, that trailer, I remembered I had posted the hatchet photo 2 years prior, so I actually archived it on Instagram. And I said, yeah, I'll be safe. I forgot I had posted it on X, Twitter back then. And the fans found it from 2 years ago and reposted it. It went viral. And I was like, oh, yeah. It's okay. I think we survived.
It's been 30 years, and you've mentioned a bit about how much this institution means to you. What's it like being part of that change from then to now?
Well, like you said, it's an institution of an IP. It's it's like the grandfather of survival horror. It started a genre, it started a movement. It has inspired and influenced countless games in the industry, movies, you name it. To be a part of something this large and this influential is really special. It's humbling. Um, I There's no words to express the amount of gratitude I have to have the opportunity to collaborate with my favorite developer, which is Capcom. I was a fan of Capcom even long before then. I started playing their games probably in 1989, 1990 with Mega Man. So I grew up with Capcom. It's that entertainment is as much a part of my DNA as anything else. And so now to be a part of it and the fact that they actually listen to me and my ideas and they trust my instincts with a legendary character like Leon, it's just the greatest honor. Um, and the way that it's evolving, what I love about this franchise is that they are always constantly reinventing themselves. They're not doing the same thing a million times. They take chances and gambles, and it often pays off. And they are just pioneering and paving the way for games for the future.
So, how did you prepare this time round? Was there anything you did differently?
It was a lot different. With Resident Evil 2 and 4 remakes, I was original with the source material. Of course, I knew the character all throughout the years, but I also knew the games and the tone. There was a very distinct tonal shift between Resident Evil 2 remake and 4, which was more of an action game like a 80s action movie. With this one, even the team, while we were developing it, it was going through many changes tonally. They were changing things, making decisions, evolving the story. And so you kind of have to trust a lot that their vision will be clear, and you just have to kind of show up and collaborate and try things and build the character with them. So for me, of course, I rely on my instincts, my training, my knowledge of my version of this character. Then, of course, the lore of Leon that existed after Resident Evil 4 remake and everything in between, because I think he had been an operative for about another 15 years in the canon. So everything that has happened since then, I had to take into consideration, trained physically, um, and got into the mindset of a much older, grizzled veteran and what he's been through, how that's taken a toll on his life. And I heavily relied on mood boards and the right music to get into that kind of mentality. And I just showed up every day um, with the right energy, because from day to day, it required a different energy, if that makes sense.
You said there about training physically. For those people who don't realize that voice actors do things like motion capture, can you go into a little bit more detail about that?
Do wish that a lot more people understood what performance capture was and understood that some voice actors do also perform with their bodies. It's not just voice behind a microphone in a booth. I personally love full performance capture because I started as an actor, as a live action actor, TV and film, as an action actor. And so to embody the role, yes, you have to stay physically fit and agile because I'm not getting younger, but I like to bring the physicality and the mannerisms to Leon. I influence a lot of his, just the way that he handles himself, not necessarily just in the action scenes, but the way that he moves, the way that he looks, his, uh, his, his body rhythm, the stuff he does with his gun. Some of those have turned into memes, and I bring that from my past experience on film. And yeah, I wish more people knew that because I'm very proud of that I brought that part of Leon to the character, not just the voice.
So there's been a lot of talk of leaks in the lead up to Requiem. So as a voice actor and an actor in general, how do you feel when these kinds of things happen? Like, are you disappointed or are you excited for the hype? Like, how does that make you feel?
I mean, when it comes to leaks, I think it's disappointing. Capcom are they're so particular with their marketing campaigns, and these are well thought out. These are approved by corporate and legal, and it's a creative strategy that a whole team has built, and then just to have it ruined with leaks, whether it's data breaches or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I don't understand what fans or people online are trying to achieve with it. A couple new follows on social media. I mean, it's just kind of sad. Um, but the people who really don't want to be spoiled, they stay away. And if the second they see something, they'll just scroll right by it. I know a lot of people right now in this week leading up to the release that they're just staying off social media in general, which I also think is a good thing in life. It's a nice little break. So it's sad. Wish it didn't happen, but it's the reality of the world that we live in.
So recently there was a debate around Arc Raiders using a mix of recorded performance and a model trained on an actor's voice for incidental lines. As a voice actor, how do you feel about the use of AI in this way?
I think I saw something saying Arc Raiders just surpassed 14 million sales. You've made your money, guys. You've made your money. With with the little amount they actually pay actors for a voiceover session, for them to argue that it's for money purposes or efficiency or speed, you can call in actors to give a human performance. I don't see the reason to do that. You're not saving billions by replacing a couple hours of voice dialogue. I don't agree with it personally.
My final question, if you could say anything to Resident Evil fans, what would you say?
I just want to say to everyone about to play Requiem, whether you are a 30-year fan like me or a brand new fan, I hope from the bottom of my heart that you enjoy it because so much love went into this project from everybody involved. Capcom, the actors, the producers, everyone, the studios. We just want to provide a good piece of entertainment, and this is the best franchise. And so if you enjoy it, play it with your friends, survive together, and just have a good time because that's the point of it.
You need to find this scientist. His vaccine research could save us all.
I'm in. But I am on their side, not yours.
Resident Evil, it's been 30 years. What does it feel like being part of such an institution?
I mean, it's pretty indescribable. I feel like the only comparisons that I'm sure some people have is like being part of long-standing, superhero franchises or things that last this long with this level of fandom is pretty rare. We have the Lara Crofts, but it's kind of like, females in video games from the OG. You think Lara Croft, you think Jill Valentine. Like they've been around and are beloved. Beloved? So like it's been so wild. I think my favorite part was just the diversity of fan base now because you have people that played 30 years ago, with their siblings or they were a little too young or they were an adult already and then now those that are still playing 30 years later is so cool. And watching new young people who's like, that person's 15, 16 years old, they came in playing Village for the first time, and then they've gone back and played the entire history of Resident Evil down to some of the OG games and like tank controls and all of these things. So just watching this franchise evolve and continue to be a narrative franchise because we have old school game characters, but not all of them have like the kind of narrative driven focus that Resident Evil does, right? There's always a new story, there's always something to overcome, there's Easter eggs everywhere, there's humor, there's violence. They just give so much in their games and definitely through history. I just feel like there's a game of every flavor at this point.
Is it awesome to be part of such an inspirational character for women?
Absolutely. I mean, how can it not be? Also, it's just fun, period, to get to be a badass. Like, if someone scripts you being awesome and you don't have to try very hard because it's all just there and everyone around you has the shared belief that you're awesome, it makes it really easy to walk into a room and be like, great, I've got power, confidence, control, resilience, all of these qualities about her that are so admirable and infectious. I love the stories that I get from fans for what these characters mean to people because it changes depending on who you're asking it of. And I think when you have kind of finished the work, right? When you're doing it, you're just in the given circumstance, you can't think too much about what came before. You can flavor things with inspiration, but you have to trust the people around you tremendously. And then really it's out in the world and it doesn't belong to you in the same way anymore. It's now how people perceive and associate and put their own stories and their own, feelings about the character onto it. So I get lots of stories from all walks of life about what Jill means, and I think that's the cool part of a legacy character is they've really kind of transcended just their own experience and their own story into becoming a much broader story, um, because of all the players.
The series is known for its campy and tongue in cheek kind of dialogue. As an actor, how do you approach material like that? Like, do you play it straight or is there room to lean into the silliness?
Definitely in like Resident Evil 3 remake, when I got to play Jill for the first time, she was a little more serious. She was a little more PTSD, trauma, all of the things focused on survival. So I do think in some ways she was a touch straighter compared to say Carlos, who had like all of the ridiculous, amazing one-liners.
Sorry, poster boy.
And I actually like that you kind of see her gain a little bit more levity and silliness with him because he's so infectious, and it gives a nice little character arc about their friendship as they go through that game. So obviously, when you get humor in a very dramatic script as an actor, it's always exciting because I think one, as an audience, we need it, and two, it's fun and it's funny. Like it's fun to do funny things on set. It's fun to be sarcastic. It's fun to take note of stuff, and it's even fun to play kind of a straight um the straight-faced character in a scene where like crazy stuff is going down and just getting that energy of like, ah yes. Well, forward we go.
So how did you prepare to be Jill? Like, did you play a lot of the games? Did you watch a lot of the gameplay? Did you speak to the original voice actress who was Catherine Disher? Or did you just see it and think, right, this is how I'm gonna do it, this is how I'm gonna do my own spin on it, and then just go from there?
At this point, I have met Catherine Disher, and she's a delight. When I first stepped into the role of Jill, I was given a lot of freedom because I knew who the character was. So I did do some research, but I also was dependent on my script, and the script was new. It was different. She hadn't been heard quite in this way. I think RE3 Remake Jill is a lot more cinematic and gritty and grounded because that's what they were going for. They wanted something that felt a little more filmic, and there's still lots of humor throughout, but it's a little more grounded because of the new way of kind of seeing the story. So for me, I relied heavily on the script and the people around me to be like, that feels right, right? Yes, yes, awesome. Rock and roll, forward we go. And I felt very trusting because I kind of came in there and was like, I don't know, here's my version of this thing. And I got picked to play this role, so they liked what I did, which meant I got to walk in going, "Okay, I'm on the right track." Like I wouldn't be stepping into these shoes if I wasn't, onto something that they feel at its core is gonna work for, this character. So that definitely. And then otherwise, like, just stances, physicality, gun work, like, hey, how do I maneuver and look like a professional? Because she's just not a rookie. Um, so wanting her to look and feel very capable at this point, because when I get her, she's already been through the mansion incident. She's already, you know, got some, uh, got some tallies. What's a good metaphor for that? Has been through it already.
So where do you see Resident Evil going in the next 30 years? So for example, like, have you what do you think about Requiem? Have you played any of it?
Not yet. I'm so excited. It comes out so soon. I can't wait to play it. And just like everyone else, I'm also so excited. Looks like we have a return to Raccoon City, which is huge. So no, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see what they've done with it. And as for the next 30 years, I mean, who knows? I think they have all the opportunity in the world to play and to go places. I think there's so many spaces that they can still explore within their world, and I'm sure they will. So I'm strapped in for the ride. I can't wait. It seems like people continue to be so enthusiastic and receptive every time a new game comes out. And I always say this when people are like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, "No, thank you." Like these games get to be made because the fans want them and want to play them and are excited and invested in these characters and these stories. So it's really the fans that I think make it happen and make it all continue forth.